Welcome to Now It's Legal's podcast, where we have William Jones. He ranks 5th on USC's all-time. He's 4th and 9th fastest USC Trojan in history. I'm going to start off real quick. Have you always been this fast?
Well, my mom said I was really, really fast, like all the time. My dad always said I was fast, so I guess so, yeah. I've always been this fast.
So you started off in high school. You were a baseball player.
Yes.
What position?
I was outfield.
You were outfield. And so now you transitioned over to track. When did that happen?
My senior year of high school, I was like, this baseball thing, I like it, but I haven't really loved it for a minute, and I wanted to try something new, so track was the thing that I wanted to do.
Was it last minute? Did people say, hey, you need to try this out? I think I see something in you.
So yeah, a couple of people were saying, yeah, I need to try this out. My dad said I need to try this out. My mom, my pastor even said I need to try this out. It was really just like a collective group of just individuals in my life that was like, you're really, really fast. You should actually go and do track a little bit and see how well you could do. I was like, all right, I'll listen to y'all and I'll see how this happens. I'll just see what happens.
Yeah. You're honing in on the skill, and then you go to the New Balance meet.
Yep.
Is that kind of where you got your first taste of, okay, this is legit?
Yeah, my first taste of, well, the feet, obviously, but also my first taste of really getting into that track world for real.
Right.
And it really made me see okay, I'm actually enjoying this. I had fun and there's challenge to it. So it's like, okay, all the things I need to actually feel like this is going to be a great fit for me.
Yeah. So you got recruited in baseball when you were in high school at Blue Valley, which is in Kansas.
Yep.
And you were originally committed to?
Southern University down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
You were born in New Orleans, right?
Yes, I was born in New Orleans.
So that was kind of like going back home, kind of, right?
That's my roots.
Yeah.
It was the same spot that my grandfather and grandmother both attended before really becoming the great people that they are. And I was just going to join in that legacy right there. But instead, a whole different course of events happened, I guess.
Absolutely. You're here at USC, Sunshine State.
Yep.
I mean, come on. You're going from Kansas, where it's cold, down to here. Talk about how much of a blessing that is.
So besides it just being a blessing, it was really just like an eye wide open kind of experience, because I'm used to not having a beach that's 30 minutes away. I'm used to being kind of surrounded by cows and some hilly parts, some flat parts of land, and really in an area where it's not as many things to do as there is here in Cali. And it really kind of opened up my mind to oh, it's okay to go to cool places like here and just really travel a little bit more. Not just that, there's so many things to do here compared to Kansas. And I'm not trying to throw shade to Kansas, but it gets kind of boring out there sometimes.
Yeah.
Say that like that.
Yeah. It's the basketball school.
Yeah, basketball area. And since I'm not a basketball player like that, even though I am kind of tall, I really didn't.
6'4".
Yeah, I really didn't want to really stay there as much. So that's why I was looking for schools outside of Kansas.
So your first race, which was a 400 meter,
Mm-hmm.
you placed second with a time of 46:06.
Yes.
Obviously, you've improved at that point. How did you feel with your first race at USC? Nervous?
Very nervous. Yeah. First race at USC, it was interesting because I was really just trying to just uphold the values that USC is always talked about and always has.
What are those values?
Discipline, making sure that you wear the shield with pride, pretty much, and making sure that you don't disrespect the legacy of USC at all, either with terrible actions or terrible really anything. And I was trying to just make sure that I put my best foot forward in that first meet for me and just really try my hardest to continue preserving that legacy.
Right. You're here at USC. You committed to USC. What other schools were you recruited by via track?
So the other schools that were really looking at me for track were LSU, Arkansas, and here, obviously. But the real reason why is it was such a small pool for me was also just because I got into the track game a little late compared to everyone else. Like I said before, senior year of track, literally in January was when I really stepped onto the scene. And by then it's kind of late if you're trying to get recruited by anybody.
Right.
And you're really just looking for any space to fit in and get into that type of program.
Right.
So, yeah.
In May of 2022, you said in an interview that you were blessed by God. Can you kind of elaborate on that?
So really it was just more of saying that God has blessed me like opportunity to, one, be able to have like this very, I don't even know how to say this, just blessed me with this gift of being fast. And he really like allowed me to use my talents in just being fast in general to go into a different sport without having but enough training like everyone else is for like all these years. For me, I was playing baseball since I was 4. So when I was able to like step into the track world at like a late time, really, it allowed me to really be like, God really helped me just get through this. God really helped me through adversity here and just allowing me to actually pursue this new dream that I've been able to do.
Yeah. So how has your walk of faith been through this journey of not only being blessed with athletic ability, but then changing it? How has your family supported you?
Well, my family supported me through this whole entire journey. My mother and my father call me every single day. I talk to my grandmother every single day, and it's just like, it really like allows me to really embrace myself as this man who's just been able to be blessed in like my body, really.
Right.
I haven't had any injuries, which I'm grateful for. I haven't had any problems, and I'm just thankful that God has just allowed my body to make it through these hard workouts and this rigorous event of the 400. I'm just happy.
Yeah. You said vigorous and hard workouts. Do you have any stories of when you first started training here at USC where you were maybe not feeling so hot?
Oh, all the time. Shoot. For me, it was more of like, I wasn't as conditioned as everyone. So whenever we would get into like the workouts and that we were going more than 400 meters, I would be dead. And even when we did get to 400 meters, I'll probably be dead as well. There was this one time where we had, I think it was like repeat 500s, or like a hard workout where we were doing a long distance. And my body, like my head was pounding, my body didn't want to move at all. And I would still get on that line and just keep on moving. I'm pretty sure I finished like last in like 3 out of the 4 times that we had to do that. And I was just like, hey, but it allowed me to get great. So
yeah.
It's all good. It's all good.
And so now your name is on the 4th fastest 4x400 relay in history at USC. What? Could you ever imagine yourself being in that place?
Not even close. I wasn't expecting that like title to ever like happen so fast. I was hoping that it would happen probably like my junior or my senior year. I wasn't expecting it to be right off the gate my freshman year.
Yeah.
And not just that, I'm just gonna say it, I'm just blessed that I had like teammates that were able to just help me through those workouts and help me get to that point.
Any of them that you can name?
Justin Braun, Johnny Blackberger, Ashton Allen. Really, to be honest, my whole entire like men's squad, they're great people.
Yeah.
They help me with every single workout. They cheer me on, I cheer them on, and we're just like a knit family. Like we're really, really good. Yeah.
So you said Justin Braun, and we all know how gifted and talented he is.
Yes,
you guys are now competing for each other. How does that play a role in how you better each other and kind of turn that into when your idols become your rivals?
So yeah, Justin, when I met him, it was at the Armory at the New Balance meet. And at first I was looking up to him for real because I was just new to the scene and I knew that he was there for a long, long time. And it was really just interesting in the fact that we both ended up here. And I was like, wow, now we have to go against each other every single day.
Yeah.
And it made it just a euphoric like experience.
Yeah. He beat you on that New Balance meet.
Yeah, he did. Don't remind me. I'll say he beat me a couple of times in races, and until we race again, I'm not gonna let him beat me. So
we'll play this back in a couple months.
Couple months.
Yeah.
I'll say in a couple of days, probably.
A couple of days, that's right. Wow.
Yes, season's approaching.
What has been one of your favorite places to travel to different meets?
Ironically, and like some people like it, some people don't. I like Oregon, actually. And it's mostly just because the field itself is like really nice and it's really iconic now. And it's became this like nice little place where you would always see people coming to and always running well.
Right.
However, I have like a long list of places that I don't like to go, but we can get to that.
Yeah. Oh, hey, shoot for it. Give me a top 3 place that you do not like to run.
New Mexico.
New Mexico.
Altitude. I hated it there. And it's probably just because of the races that I had to run there too. It was cold, it was up high, and my coach would always make you run like a 600 or something there, and it just sucked. But yeah.
So whenever you're competing with somebody from New Mexico and they come here to California or Texas or Florida or wherever they're going for the meet, do they have somewhat of an edge over you?
No.
No.
I would really say no one has an edge over me except for probably the people that I race against every single day. Like, they actually know what I would do at certain points of the race. But everyone else doesn't really know, and they would just be guessing at, oh, is he going to make a move here? Is he going to make a move there?
Right.
Is he going to accelerate here, or is he going to just hold his pace until the finish?
Right.
But my teammates, they'll know exactly what I'm going to do every single time.
Yeah. So they can kind of nitpick at your abilities and kind of hedge. When William Jones is not on the track, what makes him happy?
So I have a couple of hobbies. I haven't really been into them as much just because of just school and track, but I used to do pottery a little bit, and like, you know, on the wheel, just building up. I used to do that a little bit. I like to draw sometimes.
You're very artistic is what I'm hearing.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Not a whole lot, but just like whenever I get that free time,
yeah,
I'll go do some artsy stuff.
Yeah, 6'4" Picasso.
As I'm wearing Van Gogh.
Yeah. Van Gogh. 6'4" Van Gogh for you guys. So we were talking about your favorite places and USC that you like to go. You said Oregon, and Oregon somewhat resembles Kansas in a way where it's colder. You're more up north, right? But then we talked about your places that you didn't like to go. And what were those places?
I don't really like going to Arkansas that much.
Right.
I like that it's close to home, but I don't like how cold it gets.
Right.
New Mexico is another place I don't really like going to just because of the altitude.
Right.
Altitude makes it harder to run for everybody, and then also the times get fluctuated because of that.
Right.
Besides that, it's really just if the place is really too cold or just too high up, I don't like going to.
Right.
But the reason why I like going to Oregon is because we never go there during like a cold time. We always go there when it's July or like when it's hot and sunny outside, when the pollen's starting to come out a little bit, and where it's like, okay, people are either going to run really, really fast or people are going to be a little sick because of the pollen.
Right. Are you one of those guys who has allergies?
No, not to.
You're just perfect.
Not to that, at least.
Track is such an individualized sport. And other than any other sport that I think of golf or tennis. In baseball, when you lose, it's a team loss.
Yep.
You know, when you're running track, you know, it really can fall on you. How do you keep your mental top tier?
Well, going back to those hobbies, sometimes you have to like take yourself away from track, allow yourself to just like breathe a little bit and like really just like figure out yourself.
Sure.
Besides just doing that, it would sometimes just be calling my parents, just talking to people and really just like allowing myself to be more open.
Yeah.
And then making my way back to the track.
Yeah, absolutely. So you talked about your parents. How did they play a role in your success on the track?
Well, my parents have always like supported me in just like my sports. My dad came to every single game. My mom came to majority of the games that she could. But now that I'm like in college, she comes to almost every single track meet. Yeah, my dad hasn't been able to come to as many track meets, but at the same time, he comes to the big ones, the ones that really matter, like Pac-12s and like NCAA championships.
Yeah.
And like just my parents just in general have just really just supported me and always call me and always like check up on me to see if I'm doing well, to see if my mental is straight, to see if my body's straight. And I just really just like, I love the fact that they do that.
Yeah.
And just, it just helps me just stay focused and just stay better in the sport.
Absolutely. So who is the hardest on you? Who's going to give you what's real? Who's going to show you a little bit of tough love?
My dad, obviously, yeah. My dad would give me like the actual pep talks, the actual tough love. He did the same thing in baseball that he's doing in track, where he'll give me just that support that really helps me feel like, okay, I need to go and buck up and just go do this real quick and get it done.
Yeah. And then your mom, what is she more like?
She's the caring type. She comes and supports me. And it's just like, good job, Will. You did great. Even if I had like a bad day, she would remind me that sometimes I would have a bad day, but sometimes I've done really, really well. So she's always been like the heart, while my dad has been like the brain, and the fact that, okay, stay focused on doing this, doing that, so that you could come back the next day and run really well. While my mom would be like, okay, you might have had a bad day today, but tomorrow you won't. You might have a bad race right now, but you got to go run that 4x4 so you'll be good in that 4x4.
Right, get your mental right.
Yep, exactly.
Got it. You are breaking records at USC at a fast pace. Are you eyeballing the Olympics?
Yes, I'm eyeballing the Olympics. Since really last year, I've been really eyeballing the Olympics because I was just trying to get to that Michael Norman standard.
Yeah.
He was the one that was holding the freshman record, and I was like, okay, I'm going to inch closer and closer and closer each meet. And I came so close to it. I was off by like 0.03. And I was like, oh my gosh. But now I have to get the just USC record all together, and that goes to my coach, Quincy Watts.
Yeah.
He's fast, so I have to get up to that standard soon.
Right.
And that'll allow me to, well, besides be great at the Olympics, but just be great in general.
Just being great in general. And what's your coach's name?
Quincy Watts.
Quincy Watts. How has Quincy Watts, prepared you to really get to your best?
Well, he actually taught me how to run the race properly. So before, I was just going out there, just willpower and just literally willpower and just going out there and just doing my own thing. And then he actually gave me a great race plan, like a race plan that'll actually put me in the same bracket as everyone else, allowing me to be the best that I can, allowing me to beat my rivals, allowing me to beat people who work just as hard as me.
Yeah, very hard worker. Are there any professional athletes that you look up to?
There's a handful of them, from Usain Bolt to Fred Curley to Ray Benjamin to Michael Norman, even Noah Lyles. I just look up to those sprinters who literally just put everything on the line to win and pretty much make their bodies pretty much look like the top tier athletes. Yeah. And like, they really show me like, okay, if I put in that same amount of work, if I put in that same amount of effort, I could probably one day be at the same level or better than them.
Right. We're talking about professional athletes, and one player that came to mind, Tyreek Hill, who ran the Masters indoor. I'm sure you have mixed emotions about this, but can you kind of...
So my mixed emotions about that is going to the fact of like, okay, we know you're fast, but like there's a difference between being football fast and being track fast.
Right.
Because if you put Tyreek Hill against like the top 10, like 60 meter guys, or if you put Tyreek Hill against like D1 athletes in today's like meets and everything, you might see an upset. You might see Tyreek Hill lose. You might see just the college athletes be way better. And it's more of like, if you do it vice versa, it'll be the same exact thing. You'll see Tyreek Hill win every single time. Mm-hmm. So it's more of like, my feelings towards it is, yes, he did really, really well. He's a fast guy, mm-hmm. but it's different being track fast versus football fast.
Right. Are there any, William, are there any entrepreneur, businessmen in the world that you look up to, where you could take yourself from a marketing perspective, or in business when you decide to, on a business side where you decide to eventually get to that spot?
That's the thing, not really. It's more of on the fact that I see kind of just companies that have done really, really well. I don't see like just entrepreneurs and businessmen that I look up to. It's more of the fact that like that ideal of like allowing yourself to put everything that you have into a certain product or into a certain idea, and then really like pushing forward that idea until you become successful, that I see as like something great.
Yeah. Is your walk of faith pretty instrumental in that?
Yes, very much.
Have you gone to any other sporting events, whether it's track and field, basketball, football? Are you involved like that?
Oh, all the time. Football events here, basketball events here, both men and women's side. Volleyball. I went to a couple of water polo games. I went to a swim meet literally yesterday. I just like enjoy like going to the like SC events. They're really, really fun, and they're actually way better than just sitting at home and doing nothing.
Right. And you're going to the USC versus UCLA women's game tomorrow.
Yep, at 2:00.
At 2:00. So that'll be exciting.
Yes, indeed.
We're talking about USC basketball. I think you know where this is going. Bronny James. How do you have you ran into him?
I ran into him a couple of times.
Yeah. How is he? I mean, he's obviously a stand-up guy. How is Bronny James just meeting him?
He's cool. He's very, very chill. Meeting him is interesting at first because you always have like these like stereotypes in your head that, oh, he's gonna be mean, he's gonna be stuck up, or this, that, and the other. But really, he's just like, it's like meeting like another student. He has his things that he likes, he enjoys. You have your things that you like and enjoy, and they might be the same, they might be different. And really just going up to him and saying, hi, my name is this, that, or the other, and just being like nice to him, he'll be nice to you back.
Yeah. Were y'all's conversations anything like on the lines of, hey, you know, I'm excited for your season. Hey, come check out track and field, or anything like that?
We've had like a couple of conversations like that, but for the most part, it's really just us just saying hi to each other because we would have like 1 or 2 classes together.
Oh, you have a couple classes with Bronny James. What classes are those?
Some communication classes.
Just communication.
I can't remember exactly what the name is of the class, but yeah, it's mostly just saying hi to him and then going to class and just studying and getting ready for the next time that I see him in my class.
Right. So, NIL. You are on Now It's Legal podcast. How does being at USC and the NIL play a part into your student athlete career?
Well, it allows me to have like a opportunity to, one, increase my following, increase my just likeness towards just everyone. It allows me to get this opportunity to also do deals with people that I really wouldn't think I would have an opportunity ever to do deals with. Like, for example, some people that I would love to do deals with, Gymshark is one of them, just because I love going to the gym. I love just actually wearing comfortable clothes. PSD is also another one. Just is very comfortable. I like clothing, really, to be honest.
Yeah.
Towards those other NIL deals, towards like food, I enjoy them, but it's not as much comfort as like having an artistic piece or having like something that you like to wear all the time and like you feel comfortable in. Right.
Have you ever had a custom pair of cleats made for you? Is that allowed?
It's not. I wouldn't say it's allowed right now.
I know the football team is able to customize cleats. I just don't know how it is for the athletics.
For the track team.
Yeah.
For the track team, it's different with our shoes, just because we don't really hold as much like standard towards them. Like, yes, we like having a nice pair of spikes.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's really just having them through like the brand that your school is under. It's not more of like customizing them to look a certain type of way. In my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, having a USC track spike is already coveted in itself.
Yep.
Okay. What size do you wear?
It's between a 13.5 and a 14, depending on like the make and model of the spike.
That's crazy. 13 or 14, 6'4". Yeah, that's crazy. I'm an 11. So, you know, I mean, 13 and 14 is like basketball player size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have gone to basketball instead.
I think you're really good where you're at. I'm just saying. William Jones, what is your favorite sports movie?
Sports movie? it's kind of ironic, but my favorite sports movie is 42, and it's really just because of the memory that I have of when we actually saw it more than the movie itself, even though it's a great movie. It was like my old baseball team and I went to go see it. This was back when I was in Florida, of all places. And we saw it at the movie theaters as just like all of us together, and then we went to go play a game, and then we won the game. So it's like that whole thing of just watching the movie was just way better that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was reading in an article, you said Jackie Robinson, you did look up to him
Yes.
in your baseball career.
Yes.
So that's incredible. He has a great story and definitely is a good person to look up to and want to be like.
Well, not just that, he also played other sports than just baseball.
Right.
And like you could see that in our stories kind of being similar in that he also did track as well as football, and like I did baseball and track. So it really just shows like, okay, I look up to him, but also I would like to be more like him. Maybe
Absolutely.
now I have to just do football and I'll be right in that same little club as him.
Yeah. So what are some things that people find interesting once you tell them?
I think besides like the artistic side of me, it's more of like how I'm more of just new to this track thing. I'm more of just new to just being in California and just everything. So I'm just like open-eyed, and I'll be like very kind and very much like, hey, how are you doing? Hey, we should do something, blah, 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 blah. And the other end, I'll be like, okay, we could just go do it and we just have fun doing that. So I think it's more like they're interested, or not interested, but more like surprised in how nice I am towards just everyone and not like stuck up or too much in my own head.
Right. No, that's definitely a way to be. I think a lot of athletes get caught up in the limelight and can kind of change for the better or for the worst, right?
Yes, indeed.
So, what are your favorite spots in California to eat? I know that you're in the mecca of food.
So, actually, like right up the street, I like going to this place called Blaze Pizza, just because
That's LeBron James's.
That place is so good. Besides that, there's a couple of sushi restaurants in Pasadena that I like going to, and then there's this ice cream spot in Pasadena also, because they do like these random flavors like lavender, like and like purple ice cream. It's like really, really nice.
Yeah, pistachio flavor.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So what's your favorite type of cuisine to get into? If you're gonna eat, what are you eating besides pizza or sushi?
Besides those two, just
pizza and sushi is.
Okay. So, as you know, I'm from New Orleans. I like seafood a lot. So I would say. Well, besides sushi though, I love sushi.
Yeah, you love sushi. Do you like Cajun foods? Do you like Creole? Do you like crawfish boils?
I love crawfish boils, but I only get them during certain type of seasons.
Yeah.
And,
you a real one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm about to say I can't just have crawfish all throughout the year. It's not the same.
It's not.
It doesn't taste as good either.
Exactly. Let's talk about your journey at USC. What is something you can tell athletes who are currently recruited to USC and give them advice?
One of the advice I could really just say about like being here at USC is if you really want it, you have to like go and get it.
Right.
You can't just like stutter step. You can't just like halt your advance. You have to actually like do everything in your power to get there. And whenever there's an opportunity for you to just take the win, you should always take the win. Because, for example, my coach will always say like, okay, you haven't made it to the final yet. You have to get to preliminaries. You have to get to this, that, and the other. So it's like, okay, go out there, win that one. Come back the next day, win it again. And it'll slowly help you just get to the spot that you want to be at.
Right.
So like, always go for the win. Don't go for second place. Don't go for third place.
Go for the win.
Go for the win.
When you are competing and you are going against somebody else, how do you lock in? Like, what does that look like for you?
Well, if you watch like videos, you can see in my eyes where I go from looking like happy and smiley to just focus completely. And it's more of like just sticking to the game plan, listening for your coach's cues, and really just like allowing yourself to just like really just flow.
Yeah.
Like you can't just overthink anything. You can't underthink it. You have to just go with it.
Yeah.
Like, you know exactly what you have to do. You've trained this whole time for it, so you know
Yeah.
what mark you have to hit, at what point you have to be at for time-wise, and just really like allow yourself to win.
What would you tell student athletes who are in the middle of either playing one sport or the other, and whether they're dual sport in college? What do you have in advice for them?
Well, some advice that I'll give student athletes that have besides just conflicts with sports, but also that opportunity to be able to play two different sports, allow yourself to go as far as possible in both those sports. If you see that you are way better in one than the other, pursue the one that you're way better at so that you could be the best possible at that sport, and allow yourself to just dedicate yourself to that whole entire sport. You see that you're good at both of them equally, try to take that as long as possible. Like, try to keep that as long as possible, because one, it'll help you in the long run.
Yep.
You might be able to get opportunity to do both, like football and track, or do basketball and track, or just any type of combination of just two sports at a college, and really just allow yourself to just be the best that you can if you do have that opportunity.
Absolutely. So now we're going to go on to our Panini segment, and it's about sports cards. It's about cracking fresh wax. Have you collected sports cards? Were you ever given sports cards as a kid?
So back when I was like 7, I'm pretty sure it was either my dad or my grandfather. He gave me these sports cards and like gave me like, you know, those albums where you like
the binder.
Yep, the binder, and you slide it in and you like just look at it and you're like, oh, that's nice. And you try to fill up the whole entire like 9 squares for every single sheet. I remember having that as like a vague memory back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever think about like seeing like the Michael Jordan card and things of that nature? Or
I do. I had like these 1970s cards, like the old ones.
whoa.
Like, it was really, really nice back then, but I have no idea where I put that binder. But I do know it's inside of my house somewhere.
Okay. If there's one thing that I get across in this interview, you better go find those. Those
I
things
will,
are
I
probably
will.
worth some good money, man. Especially the vintage cards. Less were made because there's less saturation. There was less population. And so you have like, you know what I mean?
Value towards them.
Lower the demand, increase the demand, lower the supply. That
Yep.
kind of little thing going on here. All right, we're going to forward into 5 questions to get to know William Jones the best.
Alrighty.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
We're firing away here. Would you rather lose your luggage or have your flight delayed for 8 hours?
I'd rather have my flight delayed for 8 hours
Why are we not losing the luggage here?
because I love my clothes too much. So I was say, and anything in my luggage that's of value, like my cologne and all that, I can't lose that.
Yeah, what type of cologne do you use?
Ooh.
Or maybe a top 3?
I don't want to give away all my secrets. I'll just say Versace's very, very nice to wear. I'll leave it at that.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I like your style. I like your style. He's like, nobody's going to steal my swag.
Yeah,
Come
you
on.
can't take my sense.
Okay, would you rather be stuck on an island alone or with an enemy?
Alone.
Hmm.
I'm gonna say if I'm stuck on an island with an enemy, it's less likely for me to survive. If I'm by myself,
Yeah.
then all I could do is just try to defend myself against the elements versus against another person.
Gotcha. Do you have any tattoos?
Yes.
What are your favorite tattoos?
Favorite style of tattoos or just
Your tattoos that are on you.
I have one tattoo on me.
You have
right
one
now.
tattoo.
I have one tattoo.
That's your favorite.
That is my favorite. Now, styles of tattoos that I like. So you didn't ask this question, but it'll just be fun.
I hit it.
I like black and white tattoos, or really just like that type of style. Japanese style tattoos and tribal tattoos are always nice.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah.
You're on a desert island. You only get to bring 3 items, William. What are you bringing?
I'm on a desert island.
Desert island.
Gosh.
3 items.
Okay. I'm bringing a plane, I'm bringing gas, and I'm bringing a map. So I can
You're
get off.
getting out of there.
Yep.
That is the best answer I've had so far.
Also, you didn't say you have to stay stuck there now. You said I'm on a desert island.
This man said, I will escape.
Yup.
Yeah. It's so funny to hear the certain answers that I get from that. I've had all the way from like a lighter to a hoodie to a yoga mat to their girlfriend. I'm like,
I want to get off.
yeah,
It's a desert island.
I'm picking this guy. This guy's going to get me where I need to go. This guy said I'm bringing a plane. I love it. What would you tell yourself 5 years ago?
5 years ago?
Like if you could tell yourself something 5 years ago from now.
I feel like I would have told myself to pursue track earlier, to be honest. Like, I do enjoy the fact that I'm having this new experience, but at the same time, I feel like if I did it earlier, it would have been maybe better. Just because I would have had more of like, well, I wouldn't have more awareness, but I would say less stress in the beginning prior to track and have more confidence.
Yep. Last and final question. Would you rather lose all your phone contacts, you can't get them back, or lose $1 million? This puts a number on the contacts you have.
It does. I'll lose the money. I can always make more money. Can't really make new friendships like that. Can't really rekindle memories like that. And if I lost all my contacts, I'd have to remember every single number.
Not happening.
I wouldn't remember that.
No way. Who is the most famous person in your phone?
The most famous person in my phone? Probably my grandfather.
Your grandfather?
Yeah.
Can you expound on that?
So my grandfather is William Jefferson. Yeah, same name as me a little bit. And he used to be a congressman, so yeah. I would say like his connections would make him probably the most famous in my phone.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we have William Jones. Thank you for coming on Now It's Legal podcast. You've been an absolute joy. Is there anything that you would like to tell the viewers? What's going on in your life? Something that you need to say?
Come support the women's basketball game tomorrow and fight on.
Fight on. Awesome.
All right.
Hey, man.
Thank you.
Thank you, bro.
Really should shake
Yeah.